Hello, everyone. Hello. Um, so for my fan favorite, Theorist, I thought I'd talk about this man, uh, this man, right, right here, Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development has always interested me. In fact, it was uh, after all, he was the first that we did in our class, and to be honest, from had the most motivation of me from my part. Like in the case, I wrote a whole 2-page digital journal on him. His theory basically encompasses the cognitive development of children from birth to adolescence. And the whole thing that I talked about with his theory is that um, I both agree that it holds strong, and I both agree that it is outdated. Um, the reason I believe that it still holds strong today is the fact of if you take his theory for not as the whole, but as bits and pieces. Like, for example, see if I can find this here. If you look at the pre operational stage from 2 to 7 years old, it actually holds strong ground because children are known to be egocentric. They're known to be um, only thinking about themselves because at that point they're trying to develop an ideology and a identity of their own and needs to think egocentrically before uh, as they can like grasp and adapt the necessary schemas to fully grow their personality and their into being a teenager and into adulthood, becoming more um, an outward thinker, someone outside the box. But first, they have to think about themselves, not think about other people. Um, where they would see a more altruistic point of view once they have fully developed themselves if they are not delayed by situations. Now, if you look at his theory in general, there are a lot of flaws about it. One of the biggest is about John Piaget himself, because he never actually got a degree in psychology. He got a degree in natural sciences and studied zoology, which, granted, you you could think of like how the cognitive abilities of animals could correlate to the cognitive development of children. But just like how one of my old early childhood professors said that we are raising children, we're not raising kids. We're not, because kids are baby goats, and we are not raising baby goats. But um, it's a case. It's hard to really trust that his theory is foolproof with that knowledge on hand. And it's also the case that you really can never predict how a child develops, because each child develops in a unique way that basically changes the book entirely. Um, like, for example, Sutherland surveyed in 1992 while he was observing middle class background children, and it clearly shows with the circumstances that were happening, the children ended up a whole stage behind Piaget's estimation, reaching the concrete operational stage at age 12 when it should have started at age 7. So, depending on the um, how their life is going, his theory falls apart. But the idea of accommodation and adaptation of schemas and um, all that still holds strong, because to to experience new things and to know what to do with new things, you have to create new knowledge. Basically, as he says, accommodate and adapt new schemas. And basically, you could either try to recycle old knowledge and make new stuff out of it, or completely, if that knowledge does not work in the situations you are in, completely throw it away and make new knowledge with the old knowledge in mind. As well, another thing that makes his theory fall apart is the study that uh, Bremer and Balagaran did it in 1985 and 1991, which um, says that object permanence does not happen until the sensory motor stage of development, which is from birth to 2 years. But with their theory, it actually turns out that it can happen as young as 3 to 4, with depending on how the children are raised and what type of household the children are raised in. So, in conclusion, in conclusion, John Piaget has a theory that, if looked at from bits and pieces, can be used very well. In fact, I even plan to use his theory, especially the adaptation of accommodation of schemas, and using the idea that children 2 to 7 developing their own identity, 7 to 11, um, like them approaching more serious topics like world history, mathematics, and all, better understanding strategic games like chess and all that stuff, and more critical thinking and felicitation and problem solving skills. But yeah, that's why John Piaget is my favorite.